This is the first video out of many that will come in 2021. Here are just too many fucking mosquitoes. This is fucking bad. Hey, what's up? My name is Jan Trautwein. I'm a holistic mindset coach and I'm currently living in Bali. And this is one of the first videos of this ongoing series, which will basically be a very raw, uncut way of, like journaling, basically. I want to give an update once a month throughout the whole year of 2021 of like what is going on in my personal life, how is my business growing, what am I learning, what mistakes am I making. And so yeah, the first one of those will be at the end of January. And in this one, I want to reflect a little bit on the last year and what I learned. And I've written down some things here in my journal that I will share with you. And yeah, I wanted to record it outside, but we are here. Can I show that to you right now? No, I'm gonna show you some B-roll. Maybe it makes the video more complicated. Yeah, so I have, I think here like 6 questions or so that a little bit more, that I will answer, that I have answered. And if you want to reflect on your own in this transition from one year or from this year to the next one, then I've put them in the description so you can download a little document, PDF, and print them out if you want, and then journal. All right, so the first one is, what is the one thing that you are most grateful for from this past year? I actually have 2 things. The first one is combined all the lessons I received from being in my last relationship. That was incredibly helpful for my personal growth. I learned so much about myself, about relationships. I decided that polyamory might not be the thing that I really, really want. I'm going to talk more about that later. But yeah, so that was the one thing that I'm really grateful for this whole relationship and everything I learned through it. And the second one is experiencing life here in Bali. I came to Bali more or less exactly a year ago at the start of 2020, and yeah, it has been incredible. Like, the life here is or can be so abundant, and I'm really enjoying the amazing food, the amazing places, the lifestyle that I have created, that yeah, is possible because I get to do this amazing work as a mindset coach, working with people, helping them transform their lives and going after their dreams. And that allows me to live here and to work from here with people all over the world. And yeah, this last year had really shown me how amazing this is. Like, this is what I want, and I'm really, really grateful for that. The next question is, what were the 3 biggest insights you had in 2020? The first one that I wrote down, and yeah, I don't know, I didn't have time for this video to go through all the journals. I think I filled like 2 journals in the last year. But those 3 things came to mind. So the first one is that it's very important for me to have a creative outlet, which is might be like video editing for me, which is, yeah, I really enjoyed it. There's so much to play around with, but also an outlet for everything that I learn. I am reading a lot and I'm constantly learning new things, mostly through books, but also podcasts, online courses. And it's very important for me to share what I learn. I get very excited when I learn new things and I want to share them with someone. The last partner that I had, she wasn't so interested in the things that I studied. So sharing them through video is another way that would allow me to satisfy this need. And yeah, that was a big insight that this is very important to me and I really want to have this. It also allows me to integrate what I learn, like to really understand it. You know the saying that if you teach it to someone, then you really know if you got it. So yeah, when I read a book and I don't talk with anyone about it, I forget most of it. But if I share it with someone, it's like, hey, this is what I read, and then I really remember it. So that was number 1, having those outlets. Number 2 is the insight was that I have way more influence on love, on who I love and how I love. That is one of the insight I got because of this relationship. And it's very liberating. We have this romantic idea in our society that, you fall in love and it's all just magical and you can't really do anything about it. It either happens or it doesn't. And what I learned this year is like, no, it's not like that. I can choose to love someone, and love is way more complex than it's there or it's not. So that was very, very, very fascinating to experience that and to learn that. And number 3 has also to do with love and relationships. And it's the insight is that what matters most to me is to have a relationship that moves towards radical honesty. I'm not 100% sure if that's the right term here, but what I mean by that, I think it is that there's such a level of trust and honesty that you can basically ask your partner at any moment, hey, what are you thinking? And your partner will say, this is what I'm thinking. And sometimes it might be unpleasant to hear. Like the ability that the relationship, the container, can hold all of the truth that both of the partners experience. And why this is so cool to me to have this insight is I always wanted to know what my girlfriends didn't like about me. I was always like, hey, I want to talk about that. I want to tell you what I don't like about you, and I want to hear from you what you don't like about me. And no one really got it. Like, why would you do that? That's, you want to make people even more self-conscious about, their body shape, for example. And why would you tell them something that they can't change? And I didn't really know why. But now I know it, because that for me is moving towards radical honesty. I really want to know the person that I'm in a relationship with. I want to understand how they see the world. And not only what they like, what they love, also what they don't like. If we leave this part away, then it feels like, there is something missing. I don't get to fully know you. And that was really, really cool to have this insight. Which also then led to the new decision of this is way more important to me than to be polyamorous and to have multiple relationships. So that can still happen, but to go to this depth with someone, it takes time, and you need to build up this trust, you know. So yeah, this is how I'm seeing it right now. And that's the second question. I'm realizing this video will get a little bit longer than I thought it would, but that's how it is. The next question is, how did COVID impact your life? Yeah, so my life got impacted in a way that clients that I met here in Bali and we started working together, they flew home because of COVID. They wanted to be with their families and, you know, just not in Bali. So that wasn't really that big of a problem because we just continued on video calls. But this is what happened. I stayed in Bali, which I might not have, like I might have flew to Germany in the summertime, but then I decided to stay in Bali because I didn't want to go and then not be able to come back. Maybe actually I don't need this light here. Yeah, I think that works better. I don't know. Oh, I can't read. Okay. Yeah, another thing is that when it started and I was like, okay, you know, I want to work with more people as a coach, I had this dip in my confidence, or in the confidence that I can get clients, because I felt like, oh my God, everyone is just now afraid and they're saving all their money and they're buying whatever, toilet paper. So yeah, that happened. And I got COVID. I couldn't smell for a little bit. It wasn't really a big deal for me at all. Like, I barely noticed it. But then I got this opportunity to get a 1-month sponsorship for a 1-month retreat. And I had to do a test, and then it was positive, and then I had to do another test. And until I got the result from the real swab test, they got someone else to fill my spot, so I missed on that, which was in the end a lot better that way because it allowed me to work on my business and not have a 1 month where I'm completely not available. But that happened. And at the beginning, I had, I don't know, maybe in total a couple of hours of like a feeling of helplessness, of like, holy shit, what's happening here in the world? Yeah, I would say that was it. The next question is, what was completely out of your control from those things, from those impacts? And actually, I think it was only that the clients flew home and we didn't do the coaching sessions in person anymore. Yeah, the next question is, how did you let COVID impact your life? Which is basically, what are things that were not out of your control? And there was definitely this feeling of helplessness, because I create my feelings. So there was definitely me thinking about like, oh my God, the world is going crazy and I'm never going to see my family again. And those kind of thoughts created this feeling, you know, of like, whoa. Oh yeah, and I spent, for me personally, quite a lot of time researching and like watching some documentaries about COVID, which, I don't know, I think it was still reasonable. I guess like in total I spent maybe 10 hours, 20 hours on that. But since I had a lot of other things I wanted to get done, it still felt like a lot of time. Oh, and one thing that happened not too long ago was a group of friends. We were all in a WhatsApp chat. They're all in Germany. We got into this discussion a little bit where I was on one side of how I see COVID and they were on this other side, and that was quite an interesting experience where I felt like, oh shit, like I'm, you know, not really part of the group, and I didn't want to spend the time, and I didn't want to to discuss it and kind of prove my point, and I also didn't want to prove my point because who am I? I don't know. I just have an opinion like everyone else, basically. Yeah, fascinating experience. Next question. In what ways are you better off now than at the start of 2020? And for me, in any way, in every way. I feel like I'm a better person. I'm more healthy. I'm eating better. I have a lot more knowledge about food. I'm a better coach. I have more confidence in my coaching and creating clients. I learned a lot more about myself. Yeah, I went to a Tantra retreat. I still feel like an absolute beginner when it comes to Tantra, but I did the first steps, and yeah, all the knowledge I got from reading all those books in this year. I learned more about social media. I grew my social media, not so much, but I mean, on Instagram I have like double the amount of followers now. Yeah, and I learned a lot about processes, how to make things effective. There's also a lot more to uncover, but yeah. Next question is, what was the hardest lesson in 2020 for you? The hardest lesson for me was two things. The first one is that it's not as easy for me as I thought to make friends. I always had friends and they always just, happened. But being here in Bali, I had quite a few moments where I felt alone and I was like, I don't have any friends here. So, yeah, that was a hard lesson to learn, that you have to put in effort if you want to find real friends and like deep connections. And yep, that's what I learned the hard way. And another one is connected to the relationship. It's this quote, if it's not a hell yes, it's a no. Yeah, that was also like a painful lesson, that it feels really good and it's really amazing, but it's not a full hell yes, so it's a no. And even though we were together for quite a while, ultimately it didn't work out. So, goals for 2021. Yeah, what did I write down there? I started that already a while ago. So I want to go on more adventures, like real adventures in nature. I want to do a solo motorbike trip, probably in Java, a neighbor island. I am learning to speak Indonesian, and I really want to be able to speak with the locals here. So yeah, developing that skill as a goal for 2021. I want to create more content, especially on YouTube. That is the first one. Those monthly videos, but also maybe those vlogs slash videos with a message. Yeah. Maybe I also managed to finally set up my email newsletter, my routine, to give a written update and provide value through emails. Yeah, then turning every book that I read into content that is kind of connected to that. Another goal is to kind of work on my style. My attitude so far was like, whatever, it's just clothes, it doesn't really matter. And yeah, I'm not into any brands and those kind of things. But I feel more and more that it would be maybe nice to have my own style. I'm still not sure, but I think so. Maybe getting a tattoo somewhere. Another big goal is to get into budgeting. I started investing part of my money that I make, a percentage, and it's very basic. But I want to get better of like, how much do I actually spend on this and this and this, and how much can I invest in this and this? Yeah, so that is a goal. Closer friendships here in Bali. And then taking a full week off every quarter. That is something that I really want to do. I haven't done that in the last 2 years, basically. I was really full on working the whole time. But yeah, having proper holidays with like no appointments, no responsibilities. I want to get on more podcasts. That will be amazing. I want to invite my mother here to Bali and show her Bali, and yeah. And I want to study more the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza. And with study, I mean really, really study to the point where I can explain it to someone perfectly. So I hope that will be part of the content as well. Yeah, to really go through all his books again and to understand the concepts and to teach them. Yeah, those are basically, I would say, the goals for 21. They are not super specific, measurable. Yeah, I might do that still later, but that's what I have so far. And another question is, what are my goals if COVID continues? For me, it's pretty much the same. Yeah, like I said, I'm very fortunate that COVID doesn't really have a big impact on my life. I might just not travel that much, but everything else stays the same. So now a very interesting question. How does your future self need to think and behave to create those goals? I love that question because it also represents this. Goals are not a place to get to, they are a place to come from. So who is the person who accomplishes those goals? Instead of, oh my God, I'm not satisfied right now. I need to do stuff in order to get to my goals, and then there will be happiness. No, the person who accomplishes those goals, who is this person? How is this person living, behaving? So to answer that question for myself, this person would be very devoted to very few things. So simplifying and not adding more and more. I'm sure I will read more books, but Dr. Joe Dispenza's work is, I made this decision that this is what I really want to study. And I think, yeah, my life will improve more if I really study and implement his work than if I read, books from 10 different teachers. Another quality would be the willingness to go through phases of uncertainty. With this brand that I want to start and co-found now, there will be a lot of uncertainty, especially at the beginning. Like, how do you set everything up? And that can feel quite overwhelming to me, but I want to see that as part of the process and go through it. And then another piece is owning more what I believe in and speaking it out into the universe. Yeah, and it means being more polarizing and displeasing some people. Yeah, and that's not what I've done so much. So I was always kind of like, pretty, I guess, like, yeah, not polarizing. So the more I own my position and say, this is what I believe in, the more there will be people who are like, but this is not what I believe in, you're stupid, you're wrong. And if I see that happening in my life, then I know I'm on the right path. Yeah, and the last thing I wrote down is this future self definitely continues to invest in himself through coaching, my own coaches, through online courses, exercising, all of the good things. Yeah, and the last question that I have here is, what planning can you do for 2021 to set yourself up for success? So for me, it's definitely the financial planning, the budgeting, the creating an investment plan. Then it might be to hire a videographer, like someone here in Bali, so I have external accountability to create content. I just know myself, and I know that I work a lot better with external accountability, like most people do. So yeah, I might just hire someone and have certain times every month where we film. Yeah, and then with this brand that I haven't really talked about in this video, but it's still in the very early stage of creating. We're choosing a name right now. The tagline, subtitle, tagline will probably be holistic human development, and yeah, with like new social media channels and or accounts, and we have really big plans with that. So I'm very excited. And for that, yeah, to plan the different milestones and pre-plan and pre-schedule the content so that we can be very consistent. That's it. That's it for this video. Yeah. I don't know if anyone watches this or watches it until the end. If you do, thank you. I appreciate it. I guess the next one will be a little bit shorter, but who knows? In a month can also happen a lot. So at the end of January, I will make another video raw like this, where I explain what happened in January 2021, and what I learned and where I failed and what I'm excited about. And yeah, awesome. That's it. I wish you an amazing start into the next year. Don't let the fucked up situation of the world hold you back. We are still the masters of our own life. And yeah, I'm out.